Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Dad Challenge podcast. My name is Josh. Thank you for joining me this Friday evening. You should be out partying and doing what you're going to do. Yeah, I think there's been an update that we want to talk about today, a couple of updates that we want to go through. But I just want to start this whole thing off by just making sure you guys realize that there's going to be a trigger warning because they're going to be talking with Gabby in this video of the second body cam footage. Tom and I actually coming home from the Blue Jays game last night, and we saw that it was crazy. And I have to talk about it because there's some stuff that we want to go through. I think a lot of the conversation around this case is, why are people covering it so much? What's the big deal? Why do you keep going? Why do you keep talking about it? I'm never going to stop talking about this guy. There's literally a murderer, or allegedly a murderer, on the run right now from FBI. Okay, this is not like a flash in the pan. We talk about it. Oh, you're just doing it to gain subscribers. I'm going to talk about this case until it's done. Okay, so I just want to let you guys know that. But what we're talking about today is trigger warning. So make sure that you can put this in your brain and your heart, because there's a lot of people that have suffered from abuse, and this stuff can be very triggering, specifically if you've gone through this type of abuse, which is very common. So I just want to make sure you guys know that it's trigger warning, and just make sure you can put that in there and be okay with that. Okay. There's no shame in turning it off when we talk about the stuff. I've time-stamped a lot of that stuff. We want to go through it. And then we're going to talk about a few things. Obviously, we're going to see if there's any updates on Brian. We're going to talk about Brian's sister, who said she never saw him, but saw him. Liar. And all that kind of thing. So, again, I really want to thank you guys for being here. Yes, Rex is right. The thing about the real crime and covering crime that a lot of people don't, that I didn't realize because I've never done it before, is when you know the person has passed away and you get to watch footage of them or watch last posts or things like that, it's a different vibe, right? So just make sure you guys can do that in your brain. I just want to make sure you guys are cool with that. Otherwise, where is everybody from? Throw up your there's a spider in there. Throw up your city, your state, your country, and let's get to the real crime. Okay, Angela, it's real crime. All right, we're doing real crime. So, yes, Wisconsin. All right, I love it. I'm just getting you guys ready. So how many also in the chat have seen the second body cam footage? And I know a lot of you have. Here's how I know I'm going to go do an update for the night is when I get 150 emails about the one same thing, right? In this case, it was obviously the second footage, which actually is much more clear. This footage is way more in depth. It's triggering, and it makes you angry. Okay, so like there's a couple of things that made me angry anyway. There's a couple of things, and it made me angry for a couple of reasons, because I don't know. Well, let's just go through it. We'll go through it. Yeah, that's Glare. Will on the Glare. If you guys don't know who Will is, head over to the Glare channel and subscribe to him. Tom and I were watching Will when he did the live on it, so that's why we were heading back from Toronto and we were watching it. So Will's got a great channel. Make sure you head over there and subscribe to Will's channel. He's part of the Real Crime Posse. That's what we're calling it, I think, or something like that. Yeah, we're gonna get to this again, Bailey. You're right. This is what I thought too. There's a lot of like, are you a therapist now? Are you? I don't understand. And hopefully, there's cops and police or people who know a lot about police that can maybe chime in a little bit. Again, I want you guys to know right off the top too that I am not anti-police. I'm actually very pro-police. I think police are important. So I just wanted to make sure you guys knew that I was pro-police. For the most part, I did say something on my Instagram live today. I was scootering and living, and I was saying, you guys are about to pass a $3.5 trillion stimulus package or whatever. Why can't you just fund the police and fund people that can go talk about domestic abuse and stuff like that? So, yeah, let's debunk this right away. Okay. Everybody talking about the Monster Energy in the mom's purse. Guys, no. Okay. If you don't think that Brian's parents are being tailed, like they've probably got GPS trackers in their ass. She did not leave the house with a Monster Energy drink in her purse and then go drop it off to him in the forest. Not no, and I'm not trying to make fun of people who believe this. I get it. Everybody's looking for any kind of connection, and that's why this type of community is important. I just wanted you guys to know that that's not what happened. Okay, it's not even close. Yeah. So Tawny, if you guys, again, Tawny's like, everybody's been here. Just be careful with this footage we're gonna watch today. Okay, really. So, oh no, we just started the Bearded Okie. We just started. We're about to go to the footage, the secondary footage and all that stuff. So yeah, we'll go through it all. But I really want to make sure people realize that his mom didn't go to 7-Eleven and buy a Monster energy drink and then drop it off in the forest. Just saying. I want you guys to know that. All right, so let me just get this footage up here, and I'll go through the timestamps that I have. Stop here. Where are my time? I'm separating my timestamps over here because I have it all written out, and I want to make sure I get it perfect. So we're gonna go 2:13. Okay. Thank you, everybody who's a new subscriber to this channel who has never been here before. I really want to thank you for joining this channel and being a part of this. If you don't know what I normally do on this channel, you're in for a treat, okay? I absolutely am starting down this real crime path, but I also do, I'm an anti-family vlogger, dude. I'm against exploiting children online, and if you want to go watch some of my stuff, you'll see that I'm going to be releasing other videos this coming week. I can't just continue on this. I've just been really busy, and then been wrapped up in, like, when you go down that's another thing about real crime is when you're a part of this, when you're like immersed in this, it's like all you think about. Your update, your Twitter, everybody in this chat right now, every 2 seconds is highlighting their Twitter, what's going on. And so when you're invested in this whole situation, this case, that's what it takes most of your time up. And then I work full-time as well. So I just want to make sure that you guys know that I will be doing some of my other content as well, not just going to be doing all this, but this is an active, insane case. I've gotten a lot of people say, why are you still talking about it? I'm like, are you serious? Why am I still talking about it? So if you're going to come in this chat though and be a troll like that, we're not going to have it tonight. We want to get this done. This is an important topic. So let's do it. Let's get you guys going here. Window. Will you get volume? I hope you get volume. Okay, so we're going to go right from this point. This is where this new police officer is introduced, okay? Yes. This isn't my car. I just want to double check you guys can hear that. I won't. Can you guys hear all that? Yes. Valerie Loney. The whole world is talking about it. Like, seriously. Like, everybody is. You guys can hear it? Perfect. You said not. Someone said not really, but just turn your volume up. Okay. All right. Awesome. Okay, let's do this. I will be pausing very frequently to interject. That's how I do this. So if you guys are wondering why, that's why.
Oh, she is in here. Yeah. Hey, how are you? My name's Eric. I'm with Moab Police. What's your name? Gabby. Gabby, how old are you?
Again, trigger warning, everybody. Make sure you're good.
What happened? What's going on? Yeah. Is this your...
So again, I never want to. It is hard to hear the video. I can't. That's as loud as I can get it, guys. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know. That's as loud as I can get it, unless you want me to put it through the speakers, which I can do. Let's just do that. Okay.
Sunflower.
Well, I was just really stressed this morning trying to get a lot of work done, and I was apologizing to him on the I had thrown a bunch of stuff in the back, all our bags were back there. I was just apologizing. I was like, I'm sorry that I get so stressed out because I have OCD and I was just like organizing.
Now that we realize kind of what's been going on, when she is apologizing, everybody, this is that sign of abuse that people were saying. This is that reactionary abuse where she thinks it's her fault, but it's not. But basically, this is a sign of her having to walk on eggshells around him all the time. And she considers everything her fault because he makes everything her fault, right? Thank you, Nikki. Appreciate it. So that's kind of what people have been saying to me and pointing that out. So
Sometimes I just have a mean attitude, but I'm not trying to be mean about straightening things up and stuff. So I was just apologizing, but I guess I said it in like a mean tone, and he got really frustrated with me, and he locked me out of the car and told me to go take a breather, but I didn't want to take a breather.
Again, that's also a sign of abuse as far as I'm concerned. It's her van, first of all. Let's all be there, everybody. Let's never forget that. It's her van, not his. Kicking her out. She doesn't want to be kicked out. Not only are they in a place she has no idea where they likely are, right? You can't just kick someone out in the middle of Timbuktu up in Yellowstone or wherever they are, in Moab, and just expect them to be all cool then while he's chilling in the van with air conditioning. It's hotter than balls out there too. So there's a multiple reasons why that's inappropriate as far as I'm concerned.
When I wanted to get going, we're out of water.
So it kind of made you more upset.
Yeah,
It didn't help calm you.
Yeah, I gotta point that out here. This is why this is so hard, okay, everybody? As a dad of a daughter, if this is why when I first talked about this case, it's that if I saw this stuff, I don't know what I would do. Honestly, don't know what I would do. So it's so crazy, so sad. Yeah. Okay.
Made you more upset.
Yeah.
So then what happened?
And so our goal was to come here and come refill our water.
Are you guys living out of the van right now on travels?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was just really.
So what happened after he locked you out? I told you to take a breather.
Well, he walked away to go take his own breather, but I wanted to sit in the.
Wait, she just said that he walked away to get his own breather, but he was in the vehicle. The thing that upsets me about this so much is that she's literally going to bat for this guy because, again, she thinks this is ramifications. If she lies about this or if she tells the truth about it, she feels that she's going to get even more trouble. She's stuck between a rock and a hard place where cops are trying to, get this out of her and keeping him safe for whatever reason, right? And that we know that is an absolute sign of abuse. Right, at minimum. Most of this is going to be surrounded by that one thing today, everybody, if you didn't know. That's surrounded by the absolute, we're seeing that this was abuse.
Car, because all my stuff was in the car. I had to run my bag. I was working on something at the moment in the car, and he told me to just relax for a second, and I didn't want to relax, so I got really mad.
Yeah, I'll point that out too. You guys see that her arm is red here, right? I'm not the only one. Now that you see it on this footage, look at that. I know a lot of people were calling me out for that, saying it wasn't true, but I cannot believe you guys don't see that. And the cop points it out here in a second, so just stand by.
I don't need to be mad.
Yeah, what happens? Then what happened?
And then I told him to drive and get water because I'm really thirsty.
Yeah? Is there something on your cheek here? It's like, did you get hit in the face? Kind of
right?
looks like something like hit you in the face.
I got to point this out to you guys too, because I watched this. He knows the call. You'll see it referenced here in a minute. Okay. I think I'm not sure when he goes back. He has already got the witnesses' numbers. He knows the call. He knows that the call said that she was hit. He's trying to get her to say it. She won't say it. So again, sure signs of abuse, but he's trying to get her to say it. He already knows.
And then over on your arm, shoulder, right here. That's new, huh? It's kind of a new mark.
Oh yeah, I don't know.
Another mark he's pointing out.
See the other side of your face? So, what happened here and here?
This is why everybody got this so mad about this part of the video. She's got serious marks on her arms. And then he's like, what happened here? What happened here? What happened here? He's trying to get her to say it, right? So give him credit for trying to get her to say it. He already knows, but I don't know why he's just saying, hey, look, we got a call that you were, were getting hit. Is that true? I think he does do that in a second here, but like, I don't know what his MO is here. Is this normal? Does he seems like he already knows the answer, but why is he asking?
I'm not sure. It was I was just trying to get him back on the car and he's back.
So
he got me, she said. He got me.
Backpack gotcha. So there's two people that came to us and told us that they saw him hit you.
There you go.
There's two people saying that they saw him punch you.
Yeah. See? Why don't you start with that conversation?
We're just independent witnesses by Moonflower.
Well, to be honest, I definitely hit him first.
Okay, this is where this gets really upsetting because she's like, no. I don't know, because I totally hit him first. Why is she saying this? Is it because she's honest, or is it because she honestly believes like this is the textbook example of DV, right? Is that what this is? Right?
Where'd you hit him?
I slapped him.
You slapped him first? And then what, you saw his face?
You guys kind of just shut up.
How many times did you slap him? And then what? And his reaction was to do what? He just grabbed you?
Yeah.
Did he hit you though? I mean, it's okay if you're saying you hit him, and then I understand if he hit you, but we want to know the truth if he actually hit you.
I guess, yeah, but I hit him first.
Where did he hit you? No, don't worry, just be honest.
He grabbed my face, like, I guess.
So she just admitted it right there, everybody. Clear as day. He grabbed my face. That is a violent gesture. That's not just like, you don't just like, oh, hey, when you grab somebody this hard by their face, that is one of the most violent gestures you can make, specifically to someone as small as her. Okay. And the cop sees the marks and the scratch, and she says it here in a minute that she's like, I feel the burning. How hard did he grab her face? He likely grabbed her face as hard as he could and pushed her. Okay. That's probably what they saw on the call. So think about that for a second. That is so violent, and the cop knows it. She just admitted it. So let's go from there.
He didn't hit me in the face. Like, he didn't, like, punch me in the face or anything.
Did he slap your face or what?
Well, like,
Okay. I'm not sure that matters. I'm not trying to be all like, does it matter? Does it matter? He dug his fingers into her face. That is violence. That's all you need to, I guess it's all you need to know. But he's like, does it matter? And you guys might be able to correct me. Does it matter if it's a slap or if it's like, I'm going to grab your face really hard? I feel like grabbing the face hard is almost more violent. You could probably do way more damage.
Grab, like, with his nail, and I guess that's why it looks like, I definitely have a cut right here, so I can feel it.
Yeah.
I can feel it. When I touch it, it burns.
Okay. So has he been drinking?
No, we don't drink.
Okay. What was up with his driving? This officer said he hit a curb.
I
While you're driving?
Well, he was driving.
While he was driving, you were hitting him?
Not a lot, but yeah.
And that was distracting him while he's driving?
Only for like a second. Only because.
This is important here. Cops getting involved constitutes a scene, and now she'll get more abuse for being the cause of the scene. It's textbook DV. So scary. I mean, I imagine, Elia, that it's likely a lot. He's probably grabbing her arms. He's probably grabbing her face. It's probably more than we even saw. And again, we know that she's sitting here sticking up for him. We know that. So it's likely way more than we think anyway. Right? 2 inches lower, grabbing her throat. Exactly. If you can grab someone by the face that hard with that much anger in your soul, I mean, what's next? Right? It's only going to escalate. We know it escalates. We know they had more fights after this. We know they were fighting the whole time. Obviously, it escalated to something way crazier too. So we always have to take that into consideration when we talk about this, because we have hindsight. We have 20/20 vision in hindsight, right? We know what happens after. Well, we don't know how it happened, but we know something went down, right? So if we know that he grabs her face, that point to me on this case, when it talks about Brian, building this profile of Brian and the violence that he did, grabbing of the face and leaving marks and scratches and burns, that says a lot. Exactly, Katie, and then we're going to get to that.
I saw the lights come on, and I kind of
Did you already tell him all this?
I didn't get that far into
Okay,
it. She
so
was hyperventilating.
she's
a
saying
little
that
bit.
they don't drink, but at the point when you let them out,
We don't drink or anything. I was
hitting you.
yelling at him, and then when you started
It's so heartbreaking. She's literally taking all the blame, even though she just admitted that he did that. And she's still like, no, it's on me. It's on me. It's not all you. Let's just say for whatever, for balanced measure, okay, that they both were. And they both were. She did say that. She admitted to hitting him, but he doesn't admit to the other thing. Watch when we go back to Brian's thing. He doesn't admit to I grabbed. He doesn't say that. So the cop here should take that into consideration and say, okay, well, she said he grabbed her face. We've got the call. We're going to go talk to Brian. Brian said, no, I was just trying to push her away to give her some space. He saw the marks on her face, everybody. So the cop takes that. Why didn't the cop go into Brian and say, look, dude, there's scratches on her face. There's burn marks on her face. She's hurting from it. So what happened? You know, they go over to Brian. They're like, hey, you'll see. And it's going to make you super angry. Okay. But you're right. She's being interrogated and he gets the buddy treatment. And this, again, if anything happens from this case, if there is a silver lining in this type of thing, and I hate to say that, it's that we are now understanding more about what DV looks like. Okay. And hopefully this can change the game for a lot of people who are suffering from this and that people can see the signs from it. So this is pissing me off because that cop knows she just admitted it, but Brian doesn't admit to it. And he doesn't even press him on it.
I said, I kind of punched her. I'm like, there's no
she's saying was why he hit the curb. You said it was Gabby? I'm sorry, I'm really bad. It was Gabby?
Yeah.
Okay. You okay, Gabby?
You think? Does she look okay?
Medication for anxiety you take? Do you take any medication for any?
I just do yoga.
Try to meditate stuff? But you tend to have a lot of anxiety and stress?
I have a lot of anxiety.
And what's his name? Is it Brian? Is he usually pretty patient with you?
Yeah, but it just makes me upset. I know that he definitely gets frustrated with me a lot because I have a lot of anxiety and he definitely has anxiety too.
Oh, that could be a bad combo if you both have anxiety. You know, I have anxiety too, and you know, my girlfriend.
Who cares? Why? Like, oh, my girlfriend. I'm exactly this cop. I don't know if he's just trying to be personable. He's trying to like de-escalate it, or is he just? It's. It just does not seem super professional to me, right? Specifically, they got 3 cars. They got him pulled over. And look at her body language, everybody. Look at her. She's scared to death. And this guy's just like, hey, what's up? You know, totes, talking to her like she's like 7 years old. It's condescending to begin with. And then watch the tone. So watch how he speaks to her and then watch how he speaks to Brian. Okay. It's just unbelievable.
My girlfriend's really, really calm. And she has a way of taking my anxiety and bringing it down. But my ex-wife, that's why she's my ex-wife. I'm just sharing it. I know it's a little personal, but to help you understand,
What?
we would feed off each other's anxiety and it would spiral. You know what I mean? And it doesn't matter how much I loved her. It may be bad for your soul. Just saying. I'm not telling you what to do with your life, but if you know you have anxiety, look at the situations you can get in.
Now he's a doctor. Thanks, bro.
You know what I mean? And we're not here to be mean to you or anything. Well, you know, there's a first time and then it usually, we'll go see what Brian said, but I think you've heard everything now from, you know,
Quick question. You said you were hitting him in the arm.
Okay, so I got to point something out as we go over to, what timestamp are we at? We're at 8 or 9. Okay, I'm going to pop over to, he's going to walk over to Brian now. Yeah, exactly, Bailey. This is the thing. I'm hoping this can open up that conversation. But I think this officer that's with him, so there's this lady here, which I think it's a lady. I'm sorry if I'm incorrect. I don't think they're police. I think they're like park rangers. And then these police here, I think the one guy's in training. Okay, so if you watch how this guy that we're watching right now runs the show, I think this other guy's either a newbie or something like that. So let's continue here. He goes over to Brian. Now, remember how they just treated Gabby, okay? She's Parks and Rec, okay. And now watch how they treat Brian.
You want to come stand in the shade? Freaking hot, man. Yeah, I know how.
Oh, hey, bro. You want to come stand in the shade with us, dude? It's like completely a different person when he walks over to Brian. Completely different person. And Brian's here laughing it up. Yo, what's up, dude, bro? Maybe I'm just pissed because of the situation. And you guys let me know if I'm a little out of line, and maybe I am. But I'm upset because I'm seeing it now because we obviously have the 2020. Yes, exactly, Fox Squad. Exactly. Yeah, we're going to get to it. Here we go.
I know this. So you don't drink or anything?
No.
Okay. So you were talking to these officers, and I don't mean to butt in. I just felt kind of bad for you. Maybe
I don't mean to butt in, but I'm going to completely butt in on this entire thing.
you'll have more shit.
I don't want
Right?
ducking down, but
No, I know how it is.
have a big sombrero.
Well, from when I first got here, we
Jokes.
were more worried about what kind of a guy you were from what we heard. But in talking to your girlfriend, it sounds to me like maybe this is not so clear cut. So, did you already give a statement to this officer?
Again, hear what he just said there. So talking to your girlfriend, it doesn't seem like it's so clear cut. Okay. And yeah, so he already knows, this cop knows that the call was ahead. The cop knows that there's a statement that he was slapping her. She then said he grabbed my face violently, basically, for all intents and purposes, right? Yeah, get your swear pillow, everybody. Just swear into that thing. Be like, oh yeah. If you don't have a swear pillow, it's very therapeutic. Oh my God. Just get yourself a swear pillow. That's real crime swear pillow. But he knows, the cop knows. Okay, watch. Does he ever ask Brian, hey, we got this call that you slapped her. She told us you violently grabbed her face. Why don't you tell us about that? Why don't you tell us about that?
I got this gentleman here.
Yeah. And this gentleman noticed that you had some marks on your neck. Yeah. And she's got some marks on her too.
She's got marks on her too. Okay, good. You just now push that. Hey, what do you know about those marks on her face? Again, he asked her millions personal questions and all this stuff and dug deep. Okay, now watch.
We're just trying to figure out what all happened, and I know you probably already told your story. But this officer is probably going to be the one handling the whole case. You want to listen to what he has to say, and then you tell him what happened, will you? If you don't mind. Sorry.
Yeah, tell him what happened. Tell us your truth, bruh. And then we know because we watched the other footage. He just said, oh, I just try to push away, give her space because she gets in my face and all that stuff. But he just came back from talking to Gabby. Seeing the marks, he asked her, what are those marks? Oh, then she admits to the thing he did. And he's like, okay, we got some marks. Tell us what you did. Tell us what you think. And then they don't press it. They don't press it. Is that true, Renee? I guess we'll find out. Okay, I think we're going to go to officer training, then we jump over to 1225. Don't want to watch the whole thing. It's crazy. So this is when he gets in the car and he's speaking to the witness that called in, okay? I did not miss the first part of the video. I literally played it from the point he got out of the vehicle. So I don't know what you're saying I'm missing. I don't think so. Okay.
Police, how are you? Hey, we got this van stopped, and we're...
Also, can we say this for a second? Why did they release this footage yesterday? What took them so long to release this? And what, that's it's why? I don't know this.
We've separated the male and the female, and we got both of their stories. Now that we're not looking for them so intensely, I was just wondering if you had a minute, just kind of repeat to me what it is exactly you saw.
So he's calling the witness, this isn't the chief or anything like that, right? Okay, well, we'll figure this out.
No problem, sir. Yeah, so I was talking to my friend on the street near the Forest Service building, and I just noticed that this couple was sort of arguing a bit, and I wasn't staring at them, but it did catch my attention, and what I noticed is it seemed like they were sort of squabbling over a phone. I want to say that he was trying to grab her phone, and I'm not sure exactly why, and then it seems like he had...
So this is the guy. He's like, I was trying to grab, squabbling over a phone. That's what they're saying.
Sort of blocked the one side of the van and sort of wasn't letting her in, and then the male was stepping into the driver's seat, and she was trying to get into the van, and he said something
This sounds like the witness. Are you saying there was 2 more witnesses? There was 2 other calls? Are there 2 calls about the same thing? Is that what you're saying, Hales?
Remember, he sort of hit him a few times, and it wasn't like blood in the face, but just kind of like two kids kind of fighting.
Yeah, sorry, I gotta go back to this. Shelly. See, this is why we do this chat, everybody. This is why this is really important. Shelly just truth bombed an explosion here. The cop is triggered because he had an ex with anxiety. So automatically Gabby is like his ex. So she's wrong. That is something I completely didn't even think about, right? And that is why we sit here in this chat like this, everybody, because Shelly just dropped that. So he just admitted, oh yeah, my ex, and they laugh at personal information, but she had that. And she's his ex for a reason, right? And he talks about his new girlfriend. So that is very, thank you, is what I'm trying to say. Long way of saying it.
It reminded me of very mature, I don't know, children sort of fighting. But there seemed like something was off, and like a weird vibe.
He said they were like children fighting, but something was off, like a weird vibe.
And yeah, eventually, it's like, you know, she crawled into the driver's seat, sort of like got into the vehicle over his lap, sort of forced her way in, I guess. And then they were in the car, and then they just drove away. So I wasn't sure what the nature of the argument was or what. It just seems like there was.
Okay, yeah. So there's 2 calls. They called the one that didn't. This guy wasn't talking about hitting. Why didn't he call the other people? That's a good question, Kari's 2 cents. Why didn't he call the other people? Very interesting.
Sort of disagreement and some sort of like shutting. I don't know why she would have entered through the driver's door. I thought that was strange. And yeah, so I thought about calling it in, but as soon as I walked up this bar, there was another gentleman who was already calling it in. So I was like, oh, good on you. That ended it off. I wasn't sure what to do in that situation, but that's what I saw. And if there's any other specific questions, I'm happy to try to answer.
Did you ever see the male strike the female?
I would say that I think I saw maybe a push or a shove, but not.
So he said, I think I might have saw a push or a shove, not a hit.
Not like a full-on punch to the face or anything.
Was the shove was the shove or push an aggression towards her, or was it a defensive maneuver away from her or to get her away from him?
That's a good question. It was unclear what was going on to me, but it did seem like he was.
Yeah, it's not the same witness. So again, this guy's. It looks like this officer's trying to do his due diligence at the very minimum. Again, we have to remember always he does not know what's coming down the road in 2 weeks. Okay, we cannot judge them by that standard, everybody. And I'm not trying to do that either. Okay, but at the same time, he calls the one witness. Why doesn't he call the other one? He knows there's 2 calls. He says it. So why doesn't he call the other one? Okay, yeah, exactly. Well, this makes sense. The first officer pulled him over speeding. Then he came out because he's the one with the calls. Right. Still doesn't negate why he didn't call the other witness. Right. I'm still wondering why he didn't call them. Yeah, we're going to get to this in a second, Gina.
And close things up. It almost seemed like he put that backpack or something on the back of the vehicle. I'm not sure. And then he was stepping in and he was out trying to get in. So maybe,
Okay.
I don't. It was the whole thing was off, and so no, I didn't see anything that was like him taking after her or hitting her or vice versa. It was kind of light, and they were.
Okay, I'll go back to the beginning of this video. Maybe I missed that. I will go right back to the beginning. If I did, I apologize.
Someone kind of laughing, and I wasn't sure if they were just joking around, to be honest. But then it got more strange as he was in the vehicle.
Got more strange as they get into the vehicle.
About to drive off.
But you did see her slapping him, though, it sounds like.
He's like really trying to get her, right? It feels like, look, and I know because we have hindsight, but it sounds like he's really trying to get him to say it's all her fault. Am I right about that? Am I missing that line there? Am I missing that point? Am I way off on that? Like, he's like, okay, well, was it defensive or not? And then he's like, well, was it her? Did she do it? Did you see her? He didn't ask if it was defensive on her end, only on defensive on his end. Am I right about that? Am I missing that? Exactly. right? And he asked, well, is his defensive or is hers? She's 100 pounds soaking wet, okay? So let's be real about that. Cops can assess a situation based on a person, okay? He asks if she's the aggressor all the time and not whether or not she was defending herself.
Yeah, it was like, my memory is he was in the driver's seat and she had the driver's door open and she was like kind of hitting him either in the arm or maybe on the face, maybe with an open hand, like, hey, let me in, don't be a jerk, something like that.
Okay. Well, you know, your story is really, really helpful because you're an independent witness, and we've just interviewed both of them. And
again, don't talk to the witness about this. This is not witnesses. This is not privy for the witness. It's not thing. Oh yeah, thanks for all that. We're gonna tell you. Just say thanks and call the other people.
What you're saying is making everything make a lot of sense. So I really appreciate.
Did he? No, it's not. The guy was unclear. He said it multiple times that he was unclear about certain things, and the cops making up his mind based on that right now. So no, nope.
That I ran into you and that I was able to get your number and talk to you. So thank you very much. If we need to ask for a written statement, obviously it's voluntary, it's helpful, but at this point I don't know if we need to go that far unless you're around and super willing at this moment. I can meet you, get a statement.
Yeah, no, I live.
Okay, it's just okay. So I skip over to 1813. All right, so he goes up to the cop.
I heard what he said, but if that's what he said, it's also what the witness is saying. The witness said probably so she'd have her shit. Well, I think it's told her to go take. That he never saw the male strike the female. He saw.
Hear what he just said there. He never saw the male strike the female. But the guy said, well, I saw pushing. It's unclear. The guy said basically was unclear. He's like, well, it could have been construed both ways, but he didn't call the other witness either. Remember?
The male trying to lock her out of the vehicle. She even told us that he was trying to lock her out, told her to go take a walk. And then she was trying to get in. She eventually couldn't get in and actually clawed her way in through the driver's door. He said, I don't understand why she's doing that. Well, I think it's because the other door.
He just said she's trying to claw her way through the front door. I don't know why she's doing that. Because she doesn't want to be stranded in Moab, Utah. That's why. Because think about this for a second, everybody. She is literally fighting her way into this van. It sounds like he's done this to her before. And we're never going to know unless he tells us. It sounds like he might have left her stranded somewhere before. Has anybody ever thought about that for a second? Maybe they were somewhere else. They got in a fight. He's like, I'm going to leave you. And he took off for an hour and left her scared. It sounds like this is a pattern, right? It sounds like he's doing this a lot. So maybe you should have asked Brian, have you ever done that before, given her space and took off, right? But let's talk about that for a second. It is her van. When they pull them over, where's the license and registration? Can I have that? Thank you. Well, hey, it looks here on the ownership. This belongs to you, Gabby. So there's a bunch of shit here that went down. And they're not asking, and I guess you can't know all the questions to ask, but at the same time, it sounds like she's tooth and nail trying to fight her way into this vehicle. And for a couple of reasons, probably, right? They just had a public argument. Okay. And if he gets in that car, shuts it, closes, and peels out, she's going to be left stuck in a parking lot, bawling her eyes out, embarrassed as shit. Okay. So this sounds absolutely like a pattern of behavior. And nobody asks that. Yep.
Wasn't locked because she could get. She's trying to get it over him. He's trying to disengage from her. I guess he hung her backpack on the back probably so she'd have her shit so that he didn't have to engage with her. Everything she's saying is the same thing. I haven't heard what he said, but if that's what
hear what he just said there. Everything she's saying, yeah, I haven't heard what he said. He's already made up his mind. He has not heard what Brian said. He didn't even ask Brian, hey, I see the marks on her face. She said you grabbed her violently. Can you tell me about that moment? Nothing has happened yet, everybody. And I get that this is why a lot of people are really upset about this thing, right?
He said it's also what the witness is saying. The witness says, I never saw him hit her. I saw him.
No, you talked to what he said. The witnesses say I never saw her hit her. You only talked to one witness, unless we missed it, right? Yeah, we'll get to that in a second. He did not talk to the other witness, everybody, unless he talked to the witness on the way there or something. He doesn't say that.
Shove her, but I couldn't tell if it was an aggression against her or a defense against her.
And he just admits right here. Sorry, guys. I'm sorry I'm pausing it so much. He just admits right here after saying everything's lining up. He just says it right here. the person couldn't tell it was aggression or not. So is the cop under investigation? Where is it? Sorry, is this cop under investigation? Well, I guess now he is. I mean, for me, but not in the real world, probably. He's not going to suffer any consequences. But I'm just pointing out these glaring things where he says one thing and then says another thing, right? It's case closed according to the cop.
As far as her, being the aggressor. So at this point, unless the guy's screaming that he needs to go to jail and did something to this girl, it sounds to me like she is the primary aggressor. Yeah. Now,
am I going crazy here? Unless he comes out and says he did something, she's the primary aggressor. What? She said he did the thing to her. He didn't go ask Brian. This cop has made up his mind without going to Brian and asking him and treating him the same way he treated Gabby. Wait till you see the end of this video, how he treats her, okay? This gets worse, everybody. This is just getting worse.
The problem with her being the primary aggressor is in an instance of domestic assault, be it a male or be it a female, we shall arrest. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean they have to go to jail. We can do a citation if it meets one of three criterion, which one of them.
So this is why I think this guy's a noob, because he's telling him the law. Well, I got to fit one of three criterion. You could tell he's a noob because he's got all the perfect little pens and shit all over.
Is that we can ensure that they're not going to further risk each other's safety. But the problem with that is they live in the same vehicle.
That's what I was going to say.
And
part of it is
there's actually been injury to the victim, which is him.
He just said there's a what? I'm rewinding that. Sorry, guys. I got to watch that again. I'm sorry. What? Listen to what he says here, everybody.
The problem with that is they live in the same vehicle.
That's what I was going to say.
And
part of it is
there's actually been injury to the victim, which is him.
There's been an injury to the victim, which is him. There's been an injury to the victim, which is him. He didn't even talk to Brian. He didn't get Brian's statement. He just admitted that. He got Gabby's statement, though, and heard Gabby say, yeah, he grabbed me by the face. Look at the marks. He has already told us Brian's the victim without speaking to Brian. If I got that right, am I wrong? Somebody call me out if I'm wrong on that. Am I wrong? He already says Brian's a victim. They're already operating at this point right now because Gabby has said that. But he's got a call as well from another witness that Brian was violent. And she admitted he was violent as well.
right. And I'm getting conflicting stories about why they hit the curve up here.
What did he say why he hit the curve?
Well, this is what I saw. Saw him cross the double yellow. I was doing 42 miles an hour. I don't know, probably 2 car lengths behind him, tapping my wheels at him, trying to get his attention. They knew I was behind him. And then after he crossed the double yellow, he merged over into the right lane, and then out of nowhere, there's a phone line.
So did he tell you why?
He said that she grabbed the wheel and turned it real hard. He said that she was hitting him in the arm.
That's interesting. Brian says she grabbed the wheel. She says she hit him. I'm not sure what to think about that.
So
sounds legit. I mean, I'm sure if I'm driving and my arm's on the wheel and I'm getting hit in the arm, I'm probably pulling out the wheel.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it was a little of both. And usually the truth is somewhere between. He's probably trying not to say that he hit her because he probably doesn't want her charged with assault, domestic assault. He probably would rather say she pulled the wheel than hit him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, unfortunately for her,
Josh, did he speak to him for a minute and then seen that Brian had marks on him as well? He spoke to Brian. He went over to Brian. He said, okay, just give him your story. I'm going to go talk to the girl. That's what happened. He didn't talk to Brian. He said, give him your statement. Why are you giving statements to multiple people so it's all convoluted? You got to get the story. Yeah.
We cannot, just because he's bigger and stronger, and even if he's not willing to press charges, we can't treat this differently than if it was a male and female violence.
This is a good point. And this is the scariest part about this. And that's why this is important, okay? That's why this is really important. Brian's defense, if he gets caught and goes to court, his defense can say, look at this. Cop said he's a victim. Cop says the victim. So maybe everything that went down was Brian just defending himself. Maybe she attacked him with something and he defended himself and he got scared and left. Again, this is why this is really important, because these guys could literally be the defining moment for his defense. But I hope any lawyer worth the salt can tear this to shreds by saying, well, I mean, look at all the glaring, holes in this thing.
Yeah, and we're going to have to charge her. And
guys, if my video is blurry, just refresh the feed.
We can do a citation if there's some arrangement that can be made to separate them, and then we have to let them know that there's no contact order in effect. And then we have to let him know the only way to drop it is to go into the police department during business hours and fill out a waiver, which, by the way, what's today? Thursday? So it won't be till tomorrow.
This is so stupid. Oh, come fill a waiver. Oh, it's too late. Yeah, they got home for the day. I mean, these are people's lives. Maybe you can just have someone on a desk 24 hours a day at a jail or, you know what I'm saying? I don't get this. They're like, well, going home for dinner. So anybody stuck in here for the night. That's so dumb. No, the cop, Shanikia, if I got your name right, sorry if I didn't. Cop knows there was 2 calls. He does say that.
No, they're till noon, I think. Yeah. Which I'm sure he's going to want to drop it.
Well, the other part of it is they said they've been on 4 or 5 months that they've been living out of the van together.
Well,
they've been living out of a van for 4 or 5 months, he says.
It's really bad news. Let's talk to him first. His name's Brian. Did you ask him that and take pictures of him? Okay. Brian, unfortunately, in the state of Utah, we don't have discretion on some things.
Okay, he's walking. Okay, I got to point this out too. He's walking over to Brian right now, and he just said it to this noob. Brian's the victim. He's walking over to Brian with that in his head right now. Okay, he has already made the defining moment that Brian is the victim, and he's walking over there. And now everything from this point forward in this conversation, this point forward, is Brian the victim, not Brian the perpetrator. It's Brian the victim, and that's why this matters.
For example, if I pull you over for speeding and I want to give you a warning, I can do that because it's under Class A. It's a Class B or under. If I want to give you warnings for all kinds of stuff, I can, but there's a few things I can't. When I say I, the police, I'm not in charge of it. One of the things that the state legislature doesn't give us discretion on is charges when it comes to a domestic assault. And it sounds like you guys are living together, so you meet the statute for domestic partners, and you do have injury, and both an independent witness.
Yeah, Brian has injury, but the cop, Mr. Police Cop Man, who else has injury? Who else has injury? Yes, this is in my notes. He blows a snot rocket in a minute. Who else has injury here? Okay. She also, I'm so upset because he's like relaying this case on camera when we know she has injuries as well. Those aren't self-inflicted injuries. So they're, if at minimum, okay, so at minimum, they're both to blame. Okay. At maximum, he should see that she's the abused one. And that's not happening, and it's making me angry.
Probably the next one we're going to talk to as well, which we haven't talked to yet, but the one we did talk to, and your own companion have made it clear that she was the primary aggressor and that she was striking you and that you received injuries. You haven't admitted to striking her. She has not admitted to you striking her. The witness did not see you strike her. So at this point, you're the victim of a domestic assault. That even if you didn't want to pursue this, we don't have a choice. The best thing we could do to not, the law says we have to charge her. It doesn't say we have to put her in jail. Okay, but it also says we have to separate, do a no contact order, and then we have to put her in jail if we cannot separate.
That's okay. So he's saying he's trying to, I don't know if he's trying to get creative here with what they can do so they don't have to arrest somebody, and he's just trying to get him to say something. But he's definitely protecting Brian here. Again, he walked over already saying Brian was the victim. That's we already established that. Yeah, we do. Trying to bring on Annie to talk about this too.
And there's a little problem here. Is you guys live out of Florida, living in the van together. How are we supposed to separate you guys? Now, I don't want to take this small 20. What is she?
Yes, a 22-year-old.
22-year-old female in jail. You could definitely defend yourself against. But at the same time, we can't say because you're a male and she's a female, we can't treat this different than if you were the male hitting her.
Again, you've got a witness saying he did hit her. He did. And you didn't call that witness.
So, I mean, we got to treat it the same. Yeah, no. So she's kind of in a tough spot. So that.
Well, I mean, I kind of get what you're saying here, but am I getting this wrong, Galaxy High? Am I seeing something? Again, I'm not someone who is anti-police at all. I'm not. But I'm watching this and thinking to myself, am I taking crazy pills? This guy is already made this. He already did it when he knows that she's got wounds too, and she's got scratches and everything. I'm going to bring on Jordan McHale. I'm going to get them the link. Give me a second. Sorry, guys.
Do you have an idea about how she can not go to jail and be separated? Do you have friends in town? Somewhere she can stay? Tomorrow, if you want to, it's up to you. You can go to jail.
You can't say this either because it's untrue. Can't label every police officer because of what these guys did. And again, we have 2020. They don't have the hindsight.
You can't because we don't have a charge for you. Now, tomorrow, if you wanted to get with her again tomorrow, I'm going to take your radio. If you wanted to,
I'm going to take your radio. Laugh, ha, ha, ha. This guy's all like, yeah, cool, buddy. Good joke.
If you want to be with her again tomorrow, because it's after 5, so our office is closed, so you can go to the police department and fill out a waiver to drop the no contact order so you guys can still be together. But she's going to have a court date online in a week or two. She's going to have to show up for her court date online and answer. The prosecutor might drop it. She might say, for example, if you're not willing to pursue it, if that's your decision.
I was going to say, I'm not going to pursue anything. She's my fiance. I love her. It's just a little squabble.
He's like, yeah, I know. She's my fiance. We're not just a little squabble. I'm not going to pursue anything. So this guy's being treated like she shanked him with a sharpened toothbrush or something. What is going on here? Why is Brian being treated like these with these kid gloves when we just saw this police officer talk to her and she admitted she was also hurt? What?
I'm sorry that I had to get so public, but so I just want to get like the checklist of things I got to do to get rid of it. So
if you want her back, well, she'll get a paper with a court date.
I'm gonna get rid of it.
Well, the court date has to be attended in order for them to decide whether they need to continue or drop it. The first is just an initial appearance to say, are you who we think you are? Yes. Do you understand the charge that's been brought against you? Yes or no? Yes or no, the answer. Do you have an attorney? Yes or no? Do you need one? And then from there, she can...
Did she show up for a court date is a question. I don't even know if there was in the end, right? And if it was, it's probably months and months and months down the road because COVID backups. So I don't know. I don't know if we figure that out.
She can ask to speak with the prosecutor. The prosecutor might be contacting you and say, hey, man, I know she's 110 pounds soaking wet and you're a big, strong guy. And we understand you're not even wanting to pursue this, but the cops have to follow the statute. Where in the interest of you, of justice for you as a victim, what do you think? And they can decide to still prosecute her, or they can decide to drop it, or they can decide to give her a plea and make it kind of go away if she behaves from now on. But that still does not eliminate the first court appearance that she has to attend, which thankfully for you guys is going to be online. So you don't have to. So if you're out of town, so here's the thing: if you're out of town and she doesn't come into her court appearance online, they can suspend her driver's license. They can issue a warrant for her. So she needs to play ball. And
yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. And we're a team. Me and her are a team. I'm sorry about all this. All this again. But so she's got her online court date. Just acknowledge that she's hurt, and then she's got the one for the.
Well, there's automatically right now there's something called a no contact order in place.
Yeah.
From this point forward until tomorrow, if you wish to drop it, you have to go into the 217 East Center Street, Moab City Police Department, and you have to ask them to give it to you. You want to fill out a waiver that you're requesting a waiving of the contact order, the no contact order. The no contact order means she cannot come into contact with you, she cannot talk to you.
Oh, man, this is making me angry because he's like, hey, you're the victim here, so here's all your rights. She can't do any of this. There's this 100-pound girl sitting in the car, crying her eyes out, shaking in a vehicle, shaking. Okay? super scared. And he's like, yeah, man, she can't come close to you. You're the victim here. Look at this. Yeah.
She cannot text you. She cannot go onto any premises that you're occupying. She cannot go to your vehicle. And until you drop that, or until court date, if you don't drop it, it stays in effect until midnight on the day of court. And then that gives you time to...
I mean, he's trying to explain it to him. I get what the cop's trying to do. I almost feel like the cop is trying a little too hard. He's a sweaty tryhard. He's trying to get things. He's trying to almost be like, I know everything, so here's how this all goes. He probably like cheats a Monopoly and stuff.
Get a protective order, a long-term one, if you feel like you need one. But it sounds like you don't even want this one. So tomorrow they open at 8. You can go in the police department.
Jason, I've said this a million times, but again, even with 2020 hindsight, there are some glaring craziness to this. And I'm not even saying that because they let them go, that I'm sure still probably would have happened the way it happened. Okay. But there are some glaring omissions here where Jason, do you admit freely that he just went over, talked to Gabby and saw that she has injuries, but then still said that Brian is the victim completely? Do you agree with at least that's something that we have to talk about?
You can fill out the waiver, they can remove it, then you can say, hey babe, where you at? Let me pick you up. And you can pick her up. Now, we're hoping not to put her in jail, but if she doesn't have somewhere to go tonight to be separate from you, then where are we supposed to
can't talk to her now because it's separation.
There's no contact order there.
So tell me this. Do you guys have enough money for like a hotel room or anything like that? Because what we could do is we cite her for this, and then I give her a ride over.
This was what makes me angry with this dude. They're sitting there. She's in there shaking and scared. You know what we could do here, Deborah? We can cite her for this, right? And then we're going to get you a hotel through the domestic abuse victim, whatever thing. And that's what, like, they're all sitting here just kind of like almost talking behind her back. And it bothers me. Yeah, I sort of caught that.
You can pick her up there tomorrow if you want to drop the know what
on your way to go pick her up, just stop over there at the PD, sign the paperwork that they're requesting, and then you can go pick her up quite literally.
Unless you know someone else in town that's a friend that she can stay with.
Yeah.
You know, unfortunately not. I don't, and I guess that...
Man, I sure hate to... I don't want her to go to jail.
Will it be... If she goes to jail, it's like... that goes down somewhere instead of her...
Again, we run over this, Deirdre. They don't know it's her van, and he doesn't say, they don't check the registration, none of that stuff. They don't know it's hers. And that's another glaring omission here. They didn't do their due diligence. Okay. They didn't do everything they're supposed to do. I don't know if it would have changed anything. It might have, but it's her van. They keep talking to him like it's his.
It kind of depends.
How many snot rockets is this guy going to throw out there?
So if she goes to jail, they're going to book her, and they'll take her fingerprints. It's going to go on her criminal history, and then if they don't convict her, then it will just show that.
Why is Brian smiling? Because look at it. He's literally the most protected person in this scenario. Cops are coming over and, hey, look, man, we get it. You're the victim. We totally get it. What do you want to do? You want to press charges? You want to go stay at a hotel? Can we get you some Chick-fil-A, maybe some lemonade? Can we help you? Come stand in the shade over here. Do you need a hat? Do you want to, like, it's insane. They're asking him all of the questions. What do you think? It's almost like they think Brian is like, again, I don't know what this is. It's almost like Brian is the dad, and they're asking him all the questions and leaving her to be like, explain yourself. But we're not going to ask you anything. It's all Brian.
It was dismissed. It'll show up in her criminal history, but the charge was dismissed. If she is found guilty, it'll show up as she was guilty of domestic assault. But the charge itself will show up on her criminal history until she gets it expunged. Now, even if we give her a ticket, we're still going to take a fingerprint, and it's still going to show up. Either way, it's still going to show up. There's no way around the Class A. Or is this Class B?
This is Class B.
But they do require a fingerprint on it.
Yeah.
Okay, so
the other part is if you contact her or she contacts.
Oh my goodness, they just keep going.
She can be charged with the Class A.
Well,
which is a little bit different, but it doesn't look the same.
If you were to contact her and she responds to you, then she could get a new charge for violating the no contact order. No contact order doesn't restrict you; it restricts her. So if you go talk to her and we find out you're not in trouble, she'll be in trouble. So it's in your interest to
You're not in trouble. She's in trouble. So it's in your interest to do all the things we're telling you to do right here.
Does that all make sense?
No, I'm getting it.
It's a lot. I'm really quick.
No, I'm getting it. I'm just trying to figure out a way.
You don't know anyone in town? You guys been here how long?
No, I don't know anyone in town. If she went,
I don't think CK will take her if she's the aggressor.
Hear what he just said? I don't think CK is going to take her if she's the aggressor. He has already made up his mind. And that's what makes me upset here. When she said that she was hurt, and the other witness said that he saw him slap her. So there's this whole other half of this thing that they just are seemingly ignoring.
It is a women's shelter. I'm curious. You can find out. Say, hey, she doesn't have nowhere to go.
if you did a citation, say she drove off she could drive off in this car.
We could give you a ride somewhere.
Hey, bro, we can give you a ride. You want to go to like Dave and Buster's and hang out?
I got my backpack.
Sucks for you, but
I got my backpack.
you can spend it.
I got my backpack. Let's go. You kidding me?
You want to drive me to Delicate Art?
You want to drive me to Delicate Arch? Oh my gosh. Unbelievable. I'm sorry. Gabby is in the vehicle, scared shitless right now at this moment. These guys are broing it up.
Have a good driver's license and
She does driver's license.
you trust her with your vehicle. And
You trust her with your vehicle. Right now, Brian could have said, you know what, actually, guys, it's not my vehicle.
Yeah, she can handle it.
Yeah, she can handle it, he says. It's not your vehicle, a-hole.
Then you'd kind of be homeless for the night.
I mean, I can't talk to her at all.
Well,
and I've got to do the thing, so I can't go camping.
we can tell her what it is.
Oh my gosh, this guy just said that. So I can't talk to her at all. And I can't do the thing because so I can't go camping. This guy's more worried about going camping right now. Now I know why everybody sent me this. 100 messages to go through this footage.
That she needs to do to get through all this, and then let her know what your plan is.
Here's the problem though. If we take you up to Delicate Arch, they're going to be hoofing it from Delicate Arch all the way down to Moab Center Street, so that you can fill out that paperwork. Because if you're not there by noon tomorrow,
They're
you're
closed
looking
at
at
noon
Monday
tomorrow
morning.
because it's early out Fridays over the office, so you won't be there after me.
You'd be looking at Monday morning before you could actually see her right now.
And again, we're not trying to make your life hard, but this is written in statute. There's nothing.
Okay, I want to say this cop is like talking about definitives. This is written in the code. This is written in the rocks behind me in the mountain. And then we know in the end, all they did was separate them. So this cop is just like, I don't know if he's flexing. I don't know what's going on here. He's like, yo, man, it's like he's almost trying to scare, like he's trying to give worst case scenarios for, I don't know why. It's like, it seems like he likes this. Like he likes to give people bad news. You know, you ever met someone like that? Who just loves to just think of the worst side of everything and just like, oh no, we're gonna have to do this, it's gonna be definitely this. And he goes and does this to Gabby as well. Again, it's almost like he just like, we have to go with the worst case scenario, and we know it didn't. So
it's designed to protect victims of domestic assault. Not everybody's the same. This is different than normal, but we have to treat everything the same, and that's how it is.
So do you think they can't afford a hotel?
No.
Very little money we have for sure.
Hotels are expensive here now.
You want me to? I'll call CK then.
Just see if CK will take it for the night.
I'll see if they'll.
unbelievable. Hey, CK, can you just, can you hook him up with a steak and, beer as well? And, we're going to let Gabby, the 100-pound girl, sleep in a van by herself. Yeah. Love it.
This is a women's shelter. Actually, CK will take him as a victim of domestic assault. CK will take you, and they will help you tomorrow.
They're just like, yeah, CK, I'll take you, man. You're the victim here. So, yeah, let's do this. We're all like, yeah, we got it all figured out. Yeah, cool, man. CK.
And you're like walking halfway through the city.
Let's see if CK will take him, because they actually they didn't take a guy, but they got a hotel for a guy last time.
Yeah, I'll do that.
CK might get you a hotel. Now, what she does,
I might be sleeping outside in a sleeping bag.
No,
So, I don't need a hotel.
I think
I'm just saying.
I think CK will get you a hotel.
Okay, buddy.
If you want her to have the van, we don't care.
It's her van. A-ho. Seriously. Hey, man, do you need protection? You want to take one of our tasers? Here, like, just take it. Like, exactly. Like, again, a lot of us aren't really realizing, and we are, maybe we're not. We have to consider 10 yards away who's sitting in the vehicle. And the absolute, she's watching them all talk and laugh while she's in there panicking. Everybody, think about this for a second. Holy shit. They're going to get Brian all hooked up. Oh, sorry. I got to see if. Sorry, Jordan McKay's here. Sorry, guys. I just was sitting here. Sorry. Watching from behind the scenes. So, guys, are you watching? Have I missed anything that did you guys watch this?
I've watched some of it. I haven't watched the whole thing.
I watched most of it to get these timestamps, but I didn't watch like the meat in between, and it's just worse than I thought. So am I wrong? So she admits that she gets the thing in the face. The cop then goes, well, Brian's definitely the victim here. Am I wrong about that? Did I miss something?
Well, and everything that she says is like super, I mean, she takes all of the blame for everything. Like, yeah, he hit me or grabbed my face, but like I hit him first or I slapped him first, you know?
All right. Anyway, sorry for keeping you guys waiting. Let's keep going.
Okay.
It's up to you, but there's nothing we can do about the rest.
I don't know. I'm just trying to think. I gotta make it really bad.
Okay, now watch how this. Okay, this is gonna get a little bit upsetting because I feel like this is where this guy goes in and is almost like trying to like scare her and likes it. It's weird. Maybe I'm wrong. You guys watch it with me.
You sweating to death yet? You good? I'm gonna talk to you real quick, but I've been talking so much, I gotta get some water. I'll be right back.
Oh, okay, cool, bruh. So I'm gonna skip to that 3. He goes to get his water. Here it is.
And you're a full-grown man.
Here, I'll back it up a bit.
This is the water.
Hi, jokes, everybody. Let's get a water bottle.
It's cold water. Hell yeah. Okay, Gabby, when you grow up and you're a full-grown man, this is what you'll drink.
What?
From. Plus, it's ice cold, and so
She's a fucking.
And again, yeah, when you grow up, you're fine. I get it. He's trying to just be, again, I'm already upset. And so everything he's going to say now is like, you know, look at her over there eating crackers like she owns the place type of person. Like I know that, but I guess he's just trying to be friendly. So I get that. I will watch from the beginning. I promise I'll go back.
sorry.
So awkward.
You'll probably never be a full-grown man. Then you can do your curls. So, look, I'm going to speak to you frankly. I have a daughter almost.
See, this guy is, again, I called him a sweaty tryhard. This is him. This guy's a sweaty tryhard. He's like, he lives to be a police officer. He loves, like, I'm just making up stuff here. He loves, you know, the authority he's afforded as a police officer, right? Do you guys see what I'm seeing? Like, yes. He loves to talk about all the laws he knows. He's like, I'm going to talk to you frankly now. You know, we got to do this. Though. We got to definitely going to send you to the electric chair. But, you know, between that, and then we'll send you to a hotel first. You know, it's really weird. Yeah, it's just really weird.
Your age, and I'm looking at you not so much like a suspect, but also.
We missed it. He said he has a daughter like her age.
I was kind of a victim in the sense that you're dealing with some struggles emotionally and mentally at your age. Probably they'll work themselves out as you get older. There's a lot of angst at your age.
You can't say that shit, man.
What?
You can't say that.
What the hell?
Is this guy now a therapist? This is why when we got to this point, okay, this is where everything got a little bit crazy because he's just, why? What are you saying? He's just trying to like lessen the blow of her possibly getting arrested. I don't know. But he's just like, now he's a therapist and he's a psychologist, apparently.
Well, minimizing her shit, like, oh, it'll get worked out. You'll be fine.
Yeah, it's all good.
But the stuff you did today that contributed to this, because you both contributed to this.
Did he just admit they both contributed to it? Or he just said that to her face? We hear it. And yet Brian's the victim. Am I missing this? Maybe I am.
Seems a little odd.
Is as a result of your inability to cope with the anxiety and the stress that you're having. So in a way, you're kind of a victim of this. I think you would have done better if you had the skills to do better.
What the F is he saying? This
You're
is why
abused,
people would.
You're a victim, but you should have done better, damn it.
Yeah, your mental health is a problem, but do better, mental health person.
Here,
Thanks.
let's take a look at the facts, and then let me just speculate wildly on
Yeah.
things that I know nothing of.
Oh my gosh, I'm angry.
Skills until you learn skills, and you don't have enough life experience yet to know how to navigate everything. Like I don't either, but I can navigate what happened. If I was in your shoes, I could handle it different because I'm 39 years old. I've been through it. But I've got a lot of life lessons to learn still because I'm like my dad and my grandpas, they know stuff I don't know.
Okay, bro. We don't want to hear your entire life story overshare. Is this the guy in the bus that's like, okay, one time, and like, dude, I literally asked if I could just sit here.
And if he grew up in Moab, I feel like his story might be like a little bit different growing up in a small southern Utah town.
Tourist town.
I'm upset.
Right? I don't know. So in a way, I'm just letting you know that we sympathize with you, but
not empathize.
You're going to the electric chair. Our bad. We think you're innocent, but you're not innocent. That's what he is. If anything, I get what he's trying to do. Like he's trying to de-escalate, he's trying to make her feel better because she's panicking, and then this is what's weird about this, and I don't know if I'm the only one who notices this, but he gets her down to this level where she's smiling, she's a little bit more calm, and then he escalates it. Watch.
And based on what our witnesses said, and even based on what your fiance has mentioned, trying his very hardest not to have you in any trouble, he does have marks on him.
So does Gabby, and he admitted it, and she admitted it. So I hope he says that next.
That witnesses say were caused by you slapping him.
What? No. Did you guys all hear that? So he just said that the witnesses said you slapped him. The witnesses says that he slapped her. I'm right about that. I'm right. Sorry guys, I'm right.
And that even you say you slapped him and were aggressing him first. And I don't have anyone saying that he actually punched you aggressively. It sounds like it was shoving in a manner that was probably.
How do you punch not aggressively?
Nobody said this, but let me speculate on other things.
Also, we do have another witness I never called. Also, you said that he grabbed your face pretty hard and I can see the scratch there. So, yeah, but none of that really matters. It's more that you said you slapped him. That's what we're going to go off of.
From entering the van or to get space from you, not to assail you. Does that make sense? So, if the tables were turned and he was beating on you and you were shoving him, of course, we're going to look at it like, oh, of course, she's defending herself to get away from this guy. But we're kind of looking at the same.
But you weren't there.
Both fair, even if he's a bigger male and you're a smaller female. The law doesn't say, hey, Officer Pratt and Officer Robbins, you can treat people different based on gender under the same. So we can, even if it makes no sense that you.
What is he talking about? Also, why didn't he call the other witness? He is bad at this. He's bad. I'm saying he's bad at this. I'm not saying he's. At minimum, it's negligence for sure, because I feel like he's trying to interject himself into this like crazy, and he shouldn't be. It's really weird.
Well, he just likes to hear himself talk. Like, holy shit, dude, get to the point.
That's exactly what it is.
You probably could
This is a cop that's built for
physically
traffic
destroy
stops.
this man the way that he could if he attacked you. We can't treat you different, okay? So all that long-windedness I'm giving you right now is leading up to the fact that if I pull someone off for speeding, I have the right to give them a warning. I have something.
This is moot. Who cares? Why is he saying this stuff?
Called officer discretion. But in the legislature in Utah, they have made a law that if we have a domestic assault, they don't trust the police to make good decisions because too many cops have made bad decisions. So they say, we're not going to give you discretion. We're going to write a law that says if you have a domestic assault, whether it's male on female or female on male, whoever the primary aggressor is has to be charged.
Okay, so think about that for a second. He has no proof that, except, well, I mean, or is he saying because she said she did it first, right? That she's the primary aggressor. Okay, so he's going off what she said, and she's saying that probably because it's reactionary abuse, and she's just protecting him in the end, right? So we know that, obviously. I mean, obviously. So okay.
No choice. You don't get to give him a warning. It doesn't even matter if they're barely hurt at all, and the guy doesn't want to press charges. Or the girl doesn't want to press charges. We don't have a choice. We literally have no choice. He does not. This
is why I'm saying he's escalating this back up to the thing. We don't have a choice, he's saying. We don't have a choice. We know how this turned out. He absolutely had a choice. So this is why he got her down, and she's calmed down. Watch how her demeanor changes now.
I want to press charges. He says you guys are a team. He says you're his fiance. He says he loves you. He says he doesn't want anything to happen. But we're explaining to him that we don't have any choice in this. So we're trying to get a local victims advocacy group called Seek Haven to get him a hotel for the night, so that you can have the van, because they won't give you the hotel because you're the one who is the primary aggressor. So they're going to consider him the victim.
Based on their decision on this. There's no judge, jury, lawyers, nothing. This is
alleged eyewitness.
He's like, yo, the dude, we're just going to go on his because, you know, you said, I mean, really, it makes me angry.
Going to get him a hotel. So he wants you so that you don't have to go to jail, because the only thing we can do is take you to jail. He says, well, so she doesn't have to go to jail, then I will accept Seek Haven's help if they'll give me a hotel, and then she can have the van, so she doesn't have to go to jail. She can just have a ticket. When you get the ticket, it's going to give you a phone number to call, and they're going to give you a court date, and that court date will probably be online.
I have to come back to you.
Watch. This is where, guys, trigger warning. That's what Will is saying here. This is the most heartbreaking part of this whole thing. So just please make sure you're safe.
No, it'll be online. You have a smartphone?
Yeah.
So you can. You're okay.
Sorry, I've never heard of this. I shouldn't know.
Yeah. When COVID happened, they switched all the court from in person to online. So when I go to court now,
I have a ticket for hitting the curb. Something, please, because we're okay. Like, we're just.
I understand.
Begging just to get a ticket for hitting the curb or speeding. She's begging. And this is where this is why I feel like this guy, like, he calmed her down and then he escalated her and then he just kept. I don't know why he had to do this, because in the end we know what happened. It's so weird.
But we don't have any, like, listen, if I had any discretion in this, I would separate you guys for the day and just give you warnings and stop hitting each other. But I lawfully don't have discretion here.
Is it only because somebody said something, like a witness said something?
Because there's two witnesses. And then there's what you...
He's lying. See, we know now. Anybody in the chat who thought, no, he only talked to one witness, he just said there's two witnesses. He only called the one witness who said, I am unsure of what happened, at minimum, right? Nice. The witness said, oh, you know, I could be wrong. And then the other witness he didn't call, that other witness who said, yeah, I saw him hitting her. He did not call that witness. Everything he's basing this off of right now is a witness who was unsure. That's what makes this angry. That's why I'm angry.
He said what he said, and guess what? It all matches nicely that you were the
bullshit
primary aggressor.
He's telling her the narrative, and she's just not correcting him. And I feel bad for her because she needs to come out with the truth right now, and she can't because she's stuck between a rock and a hard place and an abuser.
And the injuries he has were caused by your aggression towards him. Even if he doesn't feel hurt, even if he doesn't want to press charges, there's nothing any cop can do about it. It's written into the law.
I don't.
Normally we take people to jail, but he's trying to work it so you can just have the van. Tomorrow.
I don't want to be separated.
You can have anxiety?
Yeah, no, we're a team, please.
There's not? What is it?
No, like, we're a team, please. And then it's going to give me so much anxiety. Can we just have like a driving ticket?
The very best thing I can do is call my supervisor and see if I'm missing something here.
I'll pay any driving ticket, a parking ticket, anything.
Okay, Gabby, try to calm down, and I'm going to go call a supervisor.
Yeah, try to calm down after I escalated this whole thing. Yeah, you a little late, buddy. Yeah, she kept saying, we're a team, we're a team, we're a team. She wants, she's scared out of her mind right now.
Well, and at least if she's with him, she knows where he is and what he's doing. So
yeah, that's true.
At the very least.
But I don't think that there's much I can do, but let me see if the supervisor can tell me something I'm missing to make this not happen.
I couldn't handle that. I'm sorry.
Okay. Just give me a minute, okay? You don't have to sit out in the hot sun unless you want. Okay.
It's a good point that Will made here that I made earlier as well. When we're talking about her fighting her way into the van, my conjecture is that he might have done this as a pattern. So what he does is he kicks her out because she's super scared of being alone. Think about it. She just freaked when he said they were going to separate them. First of all, right? Look at the panic attack she had after he said they're going to separate. Okay. She does not want to be alone in a strange area. So the pattern seems to be emerging that he does this. He kicks her out, maybe splits out for an hour, leaves her somewhere, right? And says, in anger, and he knows it triggers her.
It's emotional abuse. It's manipulation.
It's really what it is. And so that's the pattern that I saw, is that he was just, that she didn't want to be left alone. So she's clawing tooth and nail to get back in, because likely something else happened that we don't know about, or we'll never know about, or multiple things happened, right? Sounds like that's what he does. He uses that as emotional abuse. And then he brings out his water. Okay. So
where's the water bottle?
37 minutes, 56 on him. So I'm gonna skip to it's getting like we have so much to talk about. So I would skip to the part where I did my timestamps here.
I mean, it's a headache whether I go left or it's a headache whether I go right.
Another option. I better go on that. You got this?
He's like, yo, dude, I gotta get going. I just escalated the shit out of the situation. Peace. Like, what did he? He's literally just leaving it up to dude here after just interjecting himself so badly into this case, and he's like, okay, I gotta get going. Bye. How does that make any sense? Wow.
I'm making this decision. I'm gonna side him. I'm gonna go follow through the first.
Would you feel more comfortable handling that guy?
Yeah.
We'll handle that guy.
Go handle that guy.
If you're more
No, I can't handle women. I'd rather talk to the guy.
it's up to you.
I mean, it's a headache whether I go left.
Okay.
It's a headache whether I go right.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's a headache for you guys to do your job. Are you serious?
The other option is to not charge them, but separate them for the night. If they find themselves together again, what is it to you? You separate them. You provided for his safety. If he doesn't have enough sense to stay away and you got him separated, it's on him.
He's talking like this girl is gonna come find him with a baseball bat. Oh, if he wants to get together, that's his own fault. Again, this is all the whole thing. They're saying it's all Gabby. They're saying it's all her, without understanding her defensive wounds and her own wounds too. They have not even said it's always from the beginning. It's been her. None of this is on him at all. They didn't ask him about the face grab or anything. Nobody asked him.
You can separate them and say, don't let this go off till tomorrow. If they don't let it go off and you hear about it, we'll hear about it.
They're camping in the park tonight, we'll let you know.
And if there's some fighting going on, you already was Mr. Nice Guy. You already gave him a chance. What you can't do by law is separate someone and say, if we hear from you again, we're going to wrestle with you. Because then if one of them really needs help, they may not call police and get help. The law says you cannot.
Give me the timestamp of the most important part, Rocket Power, and I'll play it. I know. Guys, we can't go on like crazy. We have so much to talk about. So I was trying to give this timestamp that I thought was important. So if I missed something, let me know of a timestamp and I'll find it for you guys.
Literally, you may not say, if we get more problems with you guys tonight, why don't you just go and you can't threaten them like that. It's true, because it will stop them from wanting to call the police to get help. Does that make sense? Right. So go full or nothing or in between and separate them and kind of give them the nod, the wink, like, hey, just stay separated. It's up to you. I'm going to go handle that. You've got very capable help with you here, and I trust you.
I totally made this more complicated than it needed to be, and now I'm going to leave.
Yeah. Hey, I just interjected myself because I was bored. Bye. I just lit this whole forest on fire and I'm running away. Okay, so that's basically I think that kind of where it ends, like sort of not really much more.
I think everybody was saying 47-minute mark.
Okay.
Passing the buck. Yeah.
She said that she grabbed her. I might have this to myself. No, she said.
This is another thing. Yes, he takes pictures of Brian's wounds. Nobody takes pictures of Gabby's. And the beginning, the cop even points it out. Hey, I see that scratch there. I see the marks. They didn't take pictures of her shit. What the hell?
I can't say that.
Oh, 41 minutes.
41 minutes. 41
Okay,
minutes.
sorry.
41 minutes. That's what they're saying here.
Sorry, everyone.
Guys on Facebook.
Gotta ditch this whole situation.
Is the guy Googling law? He's like Googling how to do law. Okay. This is the 41-minute mark. Am I missing something? This is 41:17. I don't know if you can see that. So I'm at the 41-minute mark. Am I missing something?
Bodily injury means physical pain, illness, or any impairment of physical condition. So let's see. He's not ill. He doesn't have an impairment of physical condition. And
On Google.
he's not in pain. Like how far do you want to go with this? Like, you know why the domestic assault code is there? It's there to protect people, especially the reason why they don't give us discretion on these things is because too many times women who are at risk want to go back to their abuser. They just wanted him to stop, and they don't want to have to be separated. They don't want him charged. They don't want him to go to jail, and then they end up getting worse and worse treatment, and then they end up getting killed. Mm-hmm. In no way, shape, or form that I can perceive does what happened here, a little slap fight between fiancés who love each other and want to be together, can I perceive that this is going to digress into a situation where he's going to be a battered man? Right. But then again, I don't have.
Again, I know that the law, you want to make, and it might be sexist to say this, but does it look like he's a battered man? She's literally a tiny woman. She's tiny. You got to take into consideration like that too. Am I wrong? I don't know if maybe that's law. I feel like that's insane.
First of all, so I was looking at talking to the assistant chief to see if there's any way to just go less than than the full force domestic assault route. Right. And he says, look, I mean, you either go all the way or you don't. And it's like, okay, but under what circumstances can I not? And really the only time I cannot is if it doesn't fit. If it fits, then it's in the law, then you have to do it. So I went and I looked at the code for assault, because this is an assault, enhancing domestic assault. Utah Code, assault. Now, you and I both know what it is, but think of how valuable it is to look it up and read it word for word, especially when what you're doing is going to get evaluated by a court who cares a lot about words. Words.
This happens. I mean, this is it. I mean, if they have a database that they can access and all that stuff, it makes sense. I mean, I remember watching my doctor Google something once, and I was like, oh, that seems okay. I could have done that. And it was Google. It wasn't some other like database. So I was like, oh.
There for a reason. Assault is an attempt with unlawful force or violence to do bodily injury to another. So did she attempt to do bodily injury to him?
She went to smack him.
Was it her intention to do him bodily injury? Now, that's what we have to find out, because it says bodily injury.
This is why they ask her that, right? This is why he comes over in the other police footage video and he says, was it your intent to hurt him? And she says, no.
No.
And so that's what he uses to get them out of this, right? And I mean, at that point, I feel like he is actually trying to do something after he already escalated the whole thing. There's a fly in here. After he already escalated the whole thing. So he was looking for something to get out of that. I don't know. Or maybe that he did honestly felt bad for her and he's like, we got to figure this out. And that's why he asked, because we asked in the other video, why is he asking her such a weird question like that? Right?
Is that by definition physical pain, illness, or any impairment of physical condition?
Well, he's got a swollen right eye.
We don't care what the result was. We care about the intent.
So we got to go find intent.
Yeah, he just pointed out he's got a swollen right eye. Hey, she's got a swollen face. and marks on her arm. They don't ever talk about her injuries. Only his injuries do they ever speak about.
If she did not intend to cause him pain or illness or to cause him impairment of physical condition,
Was it intent and attempt, or intent or attempt?
when you're attempting to do something, you have to intend to do it.
True.
If I attempt to get a basketball through a hoop, I have to intend to do it. Intent is implicit with
What? That was dumb.
attempt.
Right.
Okay, so what was her intent? What was her intention? If you go ask her, what was your intention when you were slapping him, and she says, I wanted him to hurt or be ill or impair his physical condition, then there's nothing we can do.
Okay.
One way to word it might be, hey, when you slapped him, were you intending to cause him physical pain? And let's get rid of illness because that has nothing to do with it. Physical pain or impairment of his physical condition. Was that your intention? Is that what you were attempting to do? That's what it says right here, an attempt.
Right.
Were you attempting to cause him pain or an impairment of physical condition? Whatever she answers to that question will seal her fate. Because the only way you know what she was attempting to do is by asking her.
Yeah, this makes sense because all she has to say is, I was just, and she didn't. All she had to say was, he was grabbing my face, so I pushed him off of me. My intent wasn't to hurt him. My intent was to get away from being hurt. As far as that's, she could have said that, and then it would have changed the whole narrative of this entire thing. I don't know. This isn't, Sandy, this is interesting. He's trying so hard to go through loopholes for them. Why? After he escalated the whole thing, I don't know if he honestly just felt bad or they were looking for a way to get these so these kids could just get on with their lives. I don't know.
Right.
Okay. So that's what we know. You guys, anything else I've missed that you guys want me to go back? Someone said go right back to the beginning. Okay, here we go.
Pushed her away. She gets really worked up.
How's it going?
How are you doing?
Good. Hey, we got a call about a male hitting a female and the two of them getting in this vehicle and taking off.
You're right. I did miss it. Sorry, guys. We got a call about a male hitting a female and then taking off. Right there it is. That's it.
Pretty
right
simple.
Fate sealed.
Hey, and then how do you go from that to he's definitely completely the victim after we got the call saying that? Jeez.
Well, and then the added, she pulled the wheel or whatever.
And myself by saying anything here, but I pushed her away. She gets really worked up, and when she does, she swings and she had her cell phone in her hand. So I was just trying to push her away. But Gabrielle, you're talking about fiance, right? What's that?
So he's just trying to push her away. Okay, I don't believe it now at all. Yeah, so I don't know why I missed that, but he's like, yeah, we got a call that you did something. So that cop initially even saw that right off the top. So we know that they got that call. He does not call that witness again. So, okay. If I'll leave that up, if we have something to say about that, I'm going to bring Annie on if she has a chance. Let me just see if she's around. You guys are going to, she did a video on something today. I want you guys to talk about it. All right. So that was really, really difficult. And that's going to live in my brain rent free for, I don't know how long, forever. That was really, really hard. Anybody in the chat? Yeah, the primary aggressor seemed to be the word they used a lot. Even though they initially approached that vehicle thinking he was the primary aggressor, but then she, because admitted to saying, no, I hit him first, then it changed. I don't think that they changed it. I think it's what she said changed it, which sucks.
Did he at any point admit to doing anything to her, or was the focus solely on her likely reacting to what he did?
I mean, any cop that says we have this call, we hear this thing, I feel like a lot of it should be defensive, and maybe she didn't realize what she had to say was, I was being defensive. So yeah, I hit him because I think the monikers make a difference here. The word hitting, the word pushing, everything makes a difference. Did you hit him first? Yeah. But he might have been grabbing her face, and that's a different word, right? He's grabbing her face. So
Well, and if this truly is an abusive relationship and he uses emotional things like manipulation, she's always going to feel like it's her fault. Like he's hitting her because it's me. Like it's my fault that he's doing that.
Exactly. And again, the question is, do we expect these police officers to know that kind of stuff? And could they ever? No. I just don't see it. I mean, it sucks, but I think if they have a trained professional who is trained in DV can ask the right questions. That's why I said, I talked today on my Instagram live. I said, you know, you don't defund the police. You fund more police who are professionals. When people say bring a person to, this whole conversation with defunding police, when people say bring, social workers to things, this is what they mean. Yeah, this is you. This is what you would do, except you'd have a taser, okay? This is what they're asking for. Not to bring it to like a violent crime or a robbery. That's not what they're asking for. They're asking to hire more people who know about this, so they can show up to these calls and ask the right questions because they know what to look for, where these guys are like, hey, bro, can we take you to Chuck E. Cheese? Do you need a coffee? You need some Timbits? What do you need? So that made me angry.
Yeah, well, and that's exactly it. Like, we can't expect police officers to have all this domestic violence training because they have some of it, and yet we still have scenarios like this.
Yeah.
So
that's my argument, and maybe this could be a thing that can be put into place, but I think someone corrected me today. It's not something they can do federally. It's all done jurisdictionally in their towns and their states and everything else, and they have to say, well, we want that, and if they don't want it, they're not going to get it. But imagine this police officer pulled up with a trained professional like you, Jordan, except you get a sweet-ass taser, okay? You can still protect yourself. You have a little bit of training. You're not going to, arrest people, but you're there to be that professional. That would have been a game changer in the situation.
Well, and the person who should have been connected with resources should have been Gabby. So,
but they said because she was the main aggressor, he was the victim, and that victim place that gives you a hotel will only give it to the victim.
Well, which in my mind is still super inappropriate because as a social worker, we need to deal with both ends of that spectrum because he's also the problem, even if he is the being treated as the victim. You know,
and looking at their body language, looking at the way that they dealt with the situation, just on that alone shows that she was way worse off. She was had way more anxiety. She was way more freaking out, and he's out there chilling in the sunshine, laughing with the boys about sombreros. So
yeah. I mean, clearly she's clearly upset. Mental health concerns obviously might play a role in this. She's talking about anxiety. She's talking about OCD.
Yep. And again, he just says, "Oh yeah, my ex-wife had that too, so you must just be like her." So you're definitely guilty. I mean, he just injected himself into this thing, and he shouldn't have done that. At minimum, he should not have done that. So, oh my gosh, that leaves you feeling icky. At the same time, we also absolutely have to say that these guys don't know what's happening 2 weeks down the road. They just assume it's a young couple fighting like everybody does, and they want to do what's best for them. I do think that you have to have that caveat. Except this guy did take it a little bit too try-hardy. I do think, anyway.
For sure.
Well, and it's funny too because they say, "Oh, the law's written, so we don't have discretion." But there's all these criteria that they still have discretion over. That he was like, "Well, did this happen? Did this happen?"
Yeah.
We can't really tell, so we won't.
Exactly. He says, I can't do anything for you. You're going to jail. All of a sudden at the end, he's like, well, actually, I Googled the law and it sounds like we're good to go. So why is he saying either he felt really guilty about that, or he was just, again, he's that type of person that escalates and then becomes the hero after by de-escalating it or changing the rules, right? Why, who's saying something?
Rob Steffler, if you're a social worker, good job. Hope your boss sees this and fires you.
Oh God!
Do you know what a social worker is, dog?
Well, I don't understand. What is he, Rob? Why would you say that? What are you saying that we're getting wrong here?
Rob knows the social worker code of ethics better than Jordan does.
Apparently.
Yeah, but again, what's he upset about? What do we say that was wrong here that would get you, even if you did?
She's saying that the cops aren't doing their job right.
Oh, yeah. Well, they didn't. I'm sorry. No, everybody in this chat, except for 2 dudes, thinks that the cops were good about this.
Yeah, let us know. Let us know, Rob.
Police incident report says it wasn't DV and instead was a mental health crisis. So why wasn't she given help? Very good question, Janie. Very good question. Okay. I get a lot of these. Let's see if I can look it up. Keep reading the questions there.
see.
Ooh, because social workers always get it right. Look how many kids get left in abusive homes. I don't work for DCFS, okay?
That's
Not
social
my
work is a
job.
very
Is that what
broad-
he's saying? Where'd it go? I'm looking
No, that
for it.
was somebody else.
That was somebody else who's hating on social workers.
Seems to be a lot of dudes in here who are against social workers, which is weird. No, and he's talking about DCF and Child Protective Services, and yeah, they do. But this isn't DCF. This isn't a Child Protective Services case.
That's a societal problem, not social
we're talking about somebody who actually can just ask the right questions, who can see different signs. That is what we're asking for. We're not saying again. Are you, Devin? Are you against having more professionals? Are you against that? I don't understand that. Are people honestly against bringing out professionals to situations?
That's the
like
part
this?
that I don't understand, because I'm not trying to do a police officer's job, but police officers aren't trained in mental health. I'm trained in mental health, so that's the difference.
Right. Okay. What's this? Something. No, I'm just trying to see what somebody sent me. I'm not see where it is.
Thanks, Will.
What do you say?
How is this an attack Jordan chat all of a sudden?
Seriously.
Yeah, that was weird. Yeah, we're talking about a thing that doesn't actually exist, everybody. There is no people like Jordan who work for the police right now. We're asking for it. We're saying this needs to be a thing. This doesn't exist right now. CPS and all that does exist. There's social workers, but they're not trained professionals. I mean, maybe there are. There actually, yeah, there might be some jurisdictions that have this. I've yet to hear about it, but it should be. I absolutely have one or two therapists on or
and it's not like a do away with one in place of the other. Like, I'm not trying to replace a cop. I'm not trained in what they're trained in, but it's a collaboration that needs to happen.
Yeah. So all the people who are saying, "Oh, well, it could be violent," that's why it's in conjunction. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not one.
And that's fine, and that's why there are cops there. You're there to ask the right questions, basically, and say, "Look, based on what I'm seeing here are the signs that she is, reactionary abuse, all this stuff." You could say, look at her arms, look at her face, and look at his demeanor. Look at these are people who train. These cops aren't a cop. Again, a cop can't be all things to everybody. They're trained to do a few things pretty well. They cannot be social workers. They can't. This guy's trying to, though. Yeah,
he can't even memorize all the statutes.
Yeah, exactly. What a loser!
It's too much.
Who can? Yeah.
To have.
I get that. So, and I can't memorize what I ate for dinner. So I get that.
Right.
But there's something to be said, though, for a cop who is experienced, who has seen a lot of shit, right? Cops have seen a lot of things. They can tell by body language. They can do a lot of things. And I feel like this guy doesn't have a gut instinct. Although when I first initially saw that first body cam footage, I'm like, Brian seems super calm. He seems like he was, and then I didn't even actually see that whole footage of of Gabby in the van with the marks and the thing. So it all changed once you actually dove really deep into it. They did not check who the van was registered to. They assumed it was his the whole time. Even though they pulled him over, didn't ask for registration, didn't ask for license, nothing.
Bro, that's BS.
Hey, do you think she's gonna be good with this van? He's like, yeah, she can handle it. It's her van.
Well, she's also said multiple times that she hates driving it. So does he really know that she's okay with taking the van?
Yeah.
Yeah, she'd be definitely okay in her hometown, but driving in a place where she doesn't know is Jordan will not drive when we go on vacation ever. He will not ever move it, but that's
Jordan needs to be driven, not drive. She is the queen. That's how this works. Is it the police responsibility to ask if Gabby's been abused before? I don't know.
I mean, there's nothing against them asking that. But given how she responded, she's probably not going to be truthful because she doesn't think she's in an abusive relationship.
But we have to go back to this whole point too again. I think someone just said that. Is that when it comes, if Brian gets caught, and hopefully he does like soon, okay? Apparently someone said that there's another bounty hunter looking for him in the Appalachian Trail. Okay. This footage is going to be used because they had to write reports, they had to do everything else, and they had to say Brian was the victim here. They said it. That's what the report probably says. That's why he got to go to a shelter because he was the victim. They are going to use this footage to say, hey, if Brian can lie, and depending on what comes back with the what's it called, the autopsy, right? That's going to be a big thing, right? What it comes back as, he might be able to use this in his defense, is what I'm saying, and that's crazy.
Yeah.
Are we missing anything in the chat? What do you guys think? Do we want to talk about the other thing, the sister?
Maybe
That
he's
dumpster
got. If he
fire.
can lie, I mean, might run in his family. It seems like that was.
Here, play this. I'll show this to you. Brian Enton writes this, says, to my knowledge, Cassie went for a day. Laundry family attorney says Brian's sister Cassie was at the campground last month, despite Cassie saying in an early interview she has not spoken to Brian since he returned to Florida. Why would she lie about that? Can anybody talk?
She literally had to say nothing.
What was the point of this?
Interview, nothing.
And her interview was September 17th, I want to say. Was that what someone said here? Yeah, September 17th. Here it is.
Family want Gabby be found.
Is finally speaking out.
Me and my family want Gabby be found safe. She's like a sister, and my children love her. And all I want is for her to come home safe and sound, and this to be just a big misunderstanding.
Laundry sister Cassie says even she hasn't spoken to her brother since he returned to his home in Florida from his and Gabby's cross-country trip without Gabby.
I haven't been able to talk to him.
All right, so that's a straight lie, because this interview was done on September 17th, and they went camping on September 6, 7, 8, right? So, liar face. So what does that mean? Is that illegal what she did there?
I feel like it's more indicative of her potentially being out of the lawyer loop of what her family, like of what her parents had decided how they were going to respond to this. And
There's
then
no
she's
way
like, oh
that
shit.
lawyer would have let her go on that without talking to her.
Yeah. I feel like that was
There's
a poor
no
decision.
Way.
Brian went to her house on September 1st. Do we have is this confirmed? Do we
Yes,
have?
that's what the lawyer said.
The lawyer said he went to her house.
Either that or it was Brian. I think I read it on Brian's Twitter thing. Like went to her house.
Why would she lie right there about that? What's the point of the lie? Because did he go there and say, look, this is what he did? And then they all planned a camping trip. And then this is why this case is so perplexing. This is weird, everybody. You don't come home without your fiance or girlfriend, whatever you're calling her, okay, in her vehicle, and then just go camping. That's really weird. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Yeah, I think Annie's not going to be able to make it, but Annie talked today about
real quick.
Yep,
somebody asked if Jordan is verified. It's at Jordan and McKay on Instagram if you want to send her a message.
Oh,
that's us.
But yeah, September 1st kind of boggled my mind because he came back and was on that van license plate reader at 10:30 that day. So didn't he like? Why would you go to your sister's house right when you get back from vacation? That just seems kind of bizarre.
It's again, there's so many things in this case that I hope we can get answers to at the end. I mean, if she was, she's not now, but yeah, maybe. She lied because she's hiding Brian at her house. I mean, they would have checked by now.
Maybe he stayed there first when all that shit started happening at his parents' house.
Could have been. Maybe he talked to them and said, "Hey, don't come over here with all that, with all that evidence." Unreal. So, anything else as far as updates are concerned? Yeah. This is another thing too that we have to talk about, is that if this was all an accident, let's just for being a devil's advocate, let's just say this was all an accident. He's can't leave her there, right? Or he might say, I don't know what happened to her, and it was 2 days, and then I just went home because I thought she left, right? I don't know what's gonna happen. But I gotta point this out today. I did that video, that timeline, and I had thought about this yesterday. The no service in Yosemite was sent after we think she was killed, and that could have been him saying or leaving a trail somewhere else, right? I don't know if I've ever heard anybody say that, but think about that for a second. And that's why this case is so, divided amongst people who are like, why would you talk about this? Why do we keep doing this? But think about this for a second. If this didn't go viral, okay, hear this. If this didn't go as big as it got at this point, that text message would have been given to the police and they might have been searching Yosemite. The search radius gets way bigger because of that. So I thought about that and I thought to myself, okay, that's why the internet people talking about this is important. And that's why I don't really, that's why I will always, that's why I'm on this. And I think we should always be doing this. This is an important thing. So there's no messages in my Twitter there. Anybody who said that there's not. Oh, yeah. Sorry, Wilson. Let me check it out. Okay, I'm going to turn it up. Then we're going to watch. Okay, here we go.
Gabby, this sure is not going to help us find Brian. For Brian, we're asking you to turn yourself in.
It has been nearly 2 weeks since Gabby Petito's body was found in the Grand Teton National Park. Now, the search for Brian Laundries is happening all across the country, including here in Tennessee. Tennessee bounty hunters now say they are joining the search for him. News 4's Joylyn Bukovac reached out to these bounty hunters who spent hours on the hunt for Laundrie.
The bounty hunters started searching near the Appalachian Trail in Tennessee after campers thought they saw Brian Laundrie.
They had seen a white Camry, which fits the description of his grandfather's vehicle. We didn't have them look out.
Tennessee bounty hunters Ernie Shell and Xander McDougal searched for Brian Laundrie near the Appalachian Trail.
What's with that graphic? That's bugging me. They're putting a graphic on a phone? It's really weird.
Yeah, I thought that was weird. Brian Laundrie's apprehension will be within the next day or so.
Investigators have not said if Laundrie was actually in Tennessee. However, McDougal says there are plenty of things in that part of the state if you're a seasoned outdoorsman, like water and other resources.
This guy is supposed to be somewhat of a survivalist, so I would imagine, being in the Appalachian Mountains, you can find food in the forest.
McDougal says there are also plenty of places to run and hide.
The thing about that area is you can get to Hot Springs from there on back roads. You can get to other places in North Carolina over there.
McDougal and Shell say their team, Predator Hunter Nation, will help Dog the Bounty Hunter close in on Laundrie if Laundrie is in or near Tennessee.
And then what we'll end up doing is just making a big circle, and that's pretty much what Dog does. He does the outside work. It's just like he puts the puzzle together from the edge piece, and he keeps swimming around in circles like a shark would do, enclosed in.
Oh, so a shark putting a puzzle together. Okay,
on September 18th, investigators started searching for Laundrie at a reserve.
All right, we got that. So I'm sorry, it's pretty funny. It's like putting a puzzle and then a shark finishing the puzzle. Okay. That was reported 2 hours ago. Okay. And they say they're on the trail. Again, I've been saying Appalachian Trail. I don't know, but that makes sense to me how much time they had. If they went 6, 7, 8, even if they all came home, he still had tons of time, a week, over 2 weeks to get to where he needs to be. So yeah, this is weird. No one's talked to the grandfather, and we still don't know anything about Brian, everybody. Nobody's coming forward to put a profile on this guy unless they have, and the FBI is telling them to shut up and don't talk to anybody.
That's the bizarre thing is I figured like a ex-girlfriend or like a high school friend or somebody would have said something by now.
Yeah. Dog needs some sunscreen.
That dude needed sunscreen like 40 years ago.
He is past the sunscreen stage at this point.
That's what happens when somebody grows up in Boulder and then they move to Hawaii.
Okay. So I guess unless there's any other updates, not really much more to talk about here, but let's just keep a track of. Oh, I wanted to talk a little bit quickly about what Annie covered today. You guys head over to Annie 10 to Life. She actually is trying to connect the dots from Brian to the murder of the married couple. Because I think if she said it right, and I could be wrong with this, I was trying to get her on to tell me about it, but yeah, she won't be able to. But go watch her video. She's saying that lady worked at the Moonflower when they were fighting there.
She did. She was on shift that day.
Yeah. That is a crazy coincidence that night he is in a hotel by himself and they are murdered. Now, again, we've always been like, no, they've debunked it. But they don't have the other guy. So we're going to have to probably go down that rabbit hole, because that's the craziest coincidence I've ever heard, that this guy who is currently on the run from the FBI was also at the same store that this lady was, that was murdered, and the same night he was separated from her. So I did not know it was that close. I did not know, but again, I know that's a crazy coincidence. But I did not know it was that close to it as a coincidence. I did not know it was that connected, that they were there and he was separated. And that was the night that it went down. So how far, Jordan, do you know what hotel that he stayed at? Do we know that? Do we have that information?
No, I don't think they ever said, but I know that those two women were staying in campgrounds around Moab, so it's likely that they could have crossed paths, if anything. Not that they're connected, but they could have crossed paths.
Do we know where the women were killed?
Yes, but I don't remember where. It was a campground, but I couldn't tell you which one.
If anybody has it in the chat, let me know. Because
he didn't have a vehicle.
Bowen Motel. They said Bowen Motel. Really? Okay.
Oh, okay.
This is why we do this. People in the chat know shit. Right. Bowen Motel in Moab, right? It's not even nice. It's gross. And then, do we know where the women were murdered? Does anybody have that location?
I know it was a campground. Let me see if I can find it.
Someone says a 5-minute walk from Brian's hotel is what they're saying. This is where the ladies were camping. But I'd like to get that myself so I can see it on the map here and show you guys. Swanee City Park in Moab. Okay, I'll type that in. Okay. Where is it?
Where'd they get that? This is saying their campsite in the South Mesa area of LaSalle Mountains near LaSalle Loop Road. This is the Salt Lake Tribune.
Do we know the date the women were killed? Do they have that locked in? Does that make
August 18th.
August 18th. Oh,
same day.
So it was the same day. No, August 12th was when they got pulled over and separated.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was 18th they were killed?
They were found the 18th. I think they had said that they had been there for like a day or so, if I remember right.
So someone said that this is around the time
after being last seen on August 13th at Woody's Tavern.
Yeah.
August 13th, and then we think he went to Florida, so there's some space in there. So it's plausible. It's not that it's not plausible, it is plausible.
And that's why I think people are, because that whole length of time we know nothing about what he was doing.
Yeah, and the women said they saw a creepy dude around, and he's a creepy looking dude. I'm sorry, he is.
Yeah.
Does anybody have that date? Or sorry, the address of where they were? We did talk about the sister lying. We don't know what it means. We don't know what it means about the sister lying. We don't know if she just was being dumb and didn't know what to say. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what it means.
Will this be the right area?
Not enough detail. Somebody put some coordinates in the chat a while back.
Because all I have is LaSalle Loop Road.
Okay, I'll type that in. Make this close.
Click on that and give me some context here.
It's okay, well, it's not that close.
Scroll up.
It's a 3-hour hike to LaSalle Mountain Road.
And it looks pretty far south of Moab.
Like you're looking at, that's a walk. That's a 3-hour and 10.6 mile hike to where, but if we can find out where they were. Yeah, we know they were found on the 18th, but I think they were murdered before that, right?
Yeah, they were last seen the 13th.
The sister lied because the parents were planning to report Brian missing the day after her interview. Wow, okay.
That's a thought.
Sister, here's a thought. Sister drove him to the Appalachian Trail. Nobody really was at the sister's house monitoring the sister at all. That she wasn't in play for a while. So the hotel said the police set Brian up into a short walking distance of 2 women's campsite. Again, I wish if we can get that campsite, without doing it ourselves. I mean, someone says the hotel is a 7-minute walk. But I don't think the hotel plays because he only stayed there on the night of the 12th. Right? They didn't get murdered till the 13th or 14th, so the hotel actually doesn't play. Right? Am I right about that? Like the hotel would not play into the distance, into the radius. But we don't know where they went. Do we know where they were on August 13th? Do we have that timeline?
We have the bar.
Which bar?
Something.
They were last seen at a bar on the evening of August 13th.
Not the one they got kicked out of.
I don't think so.
It was called Woody's. Woody's something.
Tavern, I think.
I'm going to look it up. World famous Woody's Tavern?
Yes.
So, okay. Check it out. Let's think about this for a second. Okay. So if they were around on the 13th, they likely are around on the 14th too. Okay. And if they're thinking it's the 13th that it went down, they were staying around here. Okay. So there's Woody's world famous tavern. Okay. This is where Brian was staying. Like right down the street. So do we know if the women were at that bar as well?
At the tavern?
Yeah.
It says, let's see. They were last seen August 13th leaving a bar where they lived and worked.
So that seems like it's plausible. Am I right?
It's very weird.
Where she works. She works at the Moonflower, which is super close to this. Let's type in where that is. Hold on. Okay. They don't know what bar. They're not saying what bar. This is another wormhole. That's just okay. This is the Moonflower Community Operative or Cooperative. Okay. This is the bar. It is a 3-minute drive or probably an 8-minute walk. What is going on here? I did not know that was that close. It is super plausible. Because if we know they were here, and we do know, that's very plausible. Also, not only were they separated, they're still likely fighting. How do we know? Like, oh my gosh. Why are police not saying more about that connection? Why are they automatically dismissing it as it's a no-go?
It does seem very weird. People don't get regularly murdered in Moab. That's not like
It's not a murder capital?
No, it's not like a regular thing. It's a pretty quiet tourist town.
It has been noted that Brian and Gabby are not connected. Are we sure that Brian's not connected? Like knowing what we know now, this guy's literally on the run from the FBI. Okay, from what we know, that made it more plausible just by association. The fact that they stayed this close to them and that they were, if Gabby and Brian were last seen at Woody's and that bar is like literally super close to where they worked, that makes sense that they might have been at the bar. Why are there no witnesses from the bar? Oh, okay. Sorry. I'm getting confused. So Brian and Gabby were not, when was the last sighting of Brian and Gabby?
I think the 12th. I don't think we have anything beyond that domestic violence incident.
What happens between the 12th and what's the timeline? Do they have any Instagram posts or anything like that?
I don't think so. Where's my timeline? Because that whole period was the time that Brian supposedly flew back to Florida.
Right, but not till the 14th.
Let's see.
Oh my gosh, think about that for a second. Do we think Brian flew back on the 14th?
August 13th was the day that he last posted on Instagram, and it was a picture from their hike. I think it was Delicate Arch, wasn't it?
Yeah, Delicate Arch on the 13th, which is close to Moab, right?
Yep, that's in Moab.
Okay. Why is no one connecting that he went to Florida after these women went missing? If that's true, could he not have done something, then flown to Florida?
Yeah.
Okay. Jeez Louise. I don't know. We have to dig into that.
They know
more.
the one woman who works at Moonflower left like an hour before the Gabby and Brian incident.
Okay.
So she
The
wasn't
girls were
working
camping
that
at
day.
the Arches. Okay, the girls were camping at the Arches, which is where they were as well.
Yeah.
We know that they were at the Arches. The what's it called? The what's the arch he was saying? The
Arches
Delicate
National
Arch.
Park.
The Delicate Arch, right? Which is close to where the girls were camping. Then he splits out to Florida and leaves Gabby there, as far as we know.
Close, though. From what I'm seeing about the LaSalle Loop, that is like way outside of the park. Like,
Is there a campsite down there though? Because the LaSalle Loop is where they were found.
but how if he did this without a vehicle, how would he get them there?
True.
Okay, so they're saying this again. They were last seen at Woody's Tavern, but
yes,
did they not send a text message? Someone says there's a creepy guy at our campsite. If we're murdered, that we were murdered, right?
Yep.
So there's a last sighting, but there's a last text message. So the sighting doesn't really matter. It's where the text message says they were, and they were creeped out by the text message.
Yeah. Or I think they said like one of them had like talked to their dad and told their dad something or something like that. But I know they told the people they went to the bar with that there was a creepy dude at their campsite.
Yes. This is getting. So why is it so? Unless I'm confused and we're missing something, it was completely dismissed and still hasn't been connected again. So what are we missing?
And they have the Moab Police Department has said that they have no leads within that case. And I think it's Kylan's dad is in Moab every day asking people for leads and information because the police have nothing.
Can we reach out and get them on the show?
I'm sure he would do it. He just sets up like in a spot in Moab, like with the tent, and just asks people if they've seen anything or if they were around that day.
Possibly. I need to know more about the text of what they're saying about this creepy guy or whatever, because if that's the case, why are Gabby and Brian separated at that point? I can't see Gabby being a part of that. I think they continue to be separated. Maybe he's angry and he does something. Maybe I don't know, man. That's crazy. The last communication text was the 14th and they died that day. Brian goes to Florida on the 17th. And has that ever been super confirmed as well that Brian did go to Florida? Like, do we know that definitively?
Nope.
Nobody's ever come out and said, yeah, here's the proof.
No, it was his mom or Gabby's mom mentioned it like in an interview, but like we have no information of what he did during that time. We've got nothing.
We don't know. And I don't know why this keeps coming up, but everybody keeps saying this is fact. But even if he did go somewhere on the 17th, they didn't get found until the 18th, right?
Yes.
So were they camping at a pretty remote location or were their bodies moved?
That's a good question.
We have to go down that. We have to talk about that case too. Okay, we will do that. I'm going to see if we can reach out to the dad and see if he'll come on the show and talk to us about what he knows.
I'm sure he would. I mean, he's trying to get people to get involved with this since they'd have nothing at this point.
I mean, I get what you're saying here, Roman. We're reaching for the stars here. We're not just focused on catching laundry and not trying to convince ourselves he's he's a serial killer. I get that, but at the same time, this is a crazy coincidence. Yeah, this is it's not even that. It's that this is a coincidence of crazy coincidences. That is an insane coincidence. Knowing what we know about Brian, like we don't know if Brian's guilty of anything. We just know that he's on the run from the FBI. That's what we know. We know that they that he came back without her in her van. We know that some craziness went down, some shenanigans, some tomfoolery, some skullduggery went down. And now there's this complete crazy coincidence in the same area where they were. I know we're talking about it. This is why we do this. We shoot it here. So, all right. We will revisit. I'm going to try to get Andy to give me the whole tea on it. So, all right, everybody. Thank you for joining us tonight. It's been lively, and we appreciate you. It's been very upsetting. So I hope that you guys are okay after watching all that stuff. Gabby's dad, Dr. Phil, said she sent her food to hotel and Brian was gone back home. So pretty sure. Okay. Gabby's dad said on Dr. Phil that he sent food to her hotel when Brian was gone back home. So maybe that she was in a hotel for a couple of days. She called her dad and said, we're fighting. I need a place to stay.
She was in Salt Lake, so we know she was there.
And he might have just been going around getting pissed. Oh, there's Annie. Really?
See, it just seems bizarre.
Yeah. So Annie says suspected murder happened between 10 p.m. on 8/13 and 8/14 because she didn't show up for work starting 8:15. Brian posted pic on IG with the same geotag as where the couple were camping. That's too many coincidences, everybody. That's crazy. Okay, Annie, we'll get you on next time. We'll talk about this because we're going down the rabbit hole. That's what we do here. So, Jordan, everybody, make sure you go subscribe to Jordan McKay on Twitter and Instagram and all the places and YouTube, and head over to Annie at 10 to Life. Subscribe to her as well. We're going to keep talking about this until this D-bag is caught, and then we're going to go through the trial. I hope he gets caught alive. I want to see justice. I think everybody else does too. And it's hashtag real crime. Don't forget it. Real crime. All right, guys. We'll see you next time. Thank you for joining us tonight, and